There's a weird moment in middle school when suddenly doing your best becomes cringe. Like getting a good grade, cringe. Trying in gym class, super cringe. Raising your hand in class, might as well wear a sign that says try hard. But one kid decided he was done pretending to care less just to fit in. His name was Marcus, and this is the story of how he stopped hiding his effort, even when everyone else was too cool to try. Marcus had spent 3 whole afternoons on his science project. He'd built a volcano with real baking soda eruptions. It even had little plastic dinosaurs running for their lives. He was proud, like really proud. But then he got to school, and his best friend Caleb looked at it and said, "Bro, why'd you go so hard? You know nobody cares, right?" Another kid walked by and said, "Dang, Marcus, trying to win a Nobel Prize or something." The group laughed, and in that moment, Marcus did what he always did. He shrugged, mumbled, "Yeah, I guess I kinda overdid it," then shoved his volcano behind a box of paper towels so no one else would see it. That night, Marcus sat on the edge of his bed staring at the volcano he'd brought back home. The fake lava was dried up. The little dinosaurs were covered in glue. But what really hurt was how he'd hidden it like it was something to be ashamed of. He whispered to himself, "Why do I always do this? Why do I act like I don't care when I care so much?" He thought about all the times he'd lowered his hand in class, all the jokes he didn't tell, all the projects he half finished on purpose, just so he wouldn't be too much. And then he asked the question he'd never asked before. What if doing my best is actually the coolest thing about me? Marcus wasn't always like this. In 3rd grade, he loved being smart. He raised his hand first. He wore a bow tie on presentation day. He even corrected the teacher once. She laughed. But then it happened. At lunch, 2 older boys walked past his table. One of them looked at his volcano project and said, "Whoa, you trying to be a little scientist or something?" They laughed, not in a friendly way, in the cruel way that sticks to your ribs. And from that day on, Marcus started shrinking. He still did the work, but he stopped showing it because being smart didn't feel safe anymore. The next day in math class, Marcus was slouching in his chair, pretending to doodle, pretending he already solved all the problems. A new voice called out from the front, "Marcus Rivera?" He looked up. A substitute teacher smiled at him. "It's me, Miss Patel. 3rd grade science fair, you made the baking soda volcano that covered half the classroom." The class giggled. Marcus turned bright red. But Miss Patel wasn't teasing. She smiled again, softer this time. "You were brilliant. Still are, I bet." Marcus didn't say anything, but something in his chest shifted, like a little locked door creaked open. That afternoon, Marcus sat at his desk, his math homework finished in 10 minutes like always. But instead of hiding it, he pulled out a notebook from the bottom drawer, the one he hadn't used since 3rd grade. He flipped past the old drawings, the science fair sketches, the list titled Future Inventions. Then, on a clean page, he wrote just 5 words. "I still care. That's okay." He didn't show it to anyone, didn't post it, didn't turn it into a TikTok. He just closed the notebook and smiled a little, like he'd just told himself a secret, and finally believed it. The next morning, Marcus walked into class early, not to hide anything, just to be ready. When the teacher asked for volunteers, he raised his hand. Not the first, not the fastest, but he didn't lower it this time. When it was time to turn in homework, he didn't fold his paper to hide the grade. He slid it across the desk like everyone else. And when Caleb leaned over and said, "Yo, trying hard again?" Marcus just smiled and said, "Yeah, I like trying." Caleb blinked, then shrugged and said, "Huh, okay." That was it. No fireworks, no dramatic speech, just a quiet decision to stop hiding who he really was. A week later, the teacher announced the winner of the class science challenge. It wasn't a big contest, no trophies, no pizza party, just a gold sticker and some quiet bragging rights. When she said, "Marcus Rivera," he blinked, then blinked again. Everyone turned to look. One kid clapped. Another said, "Whoa, for real?" Caleb gave him a fist bump. Marcus almost laughed. Almost. Instead, he walked up, took the sticker, and stuck it right on the front of his notebook, the one he used to hide. This time he left it out on his desk, in the sun. Later that day, during study time, a quiet voice tapped Marcus's shoulder. It was Jaden, the kid who always sat in the back, the one who never asked questions out loud. "Hey," Jaden whispered. Can you help me with number 6? You're like really good at this stuff." Marcus nodded, not in a bragging way, just a, "Yeah, I got you" kind of way. They leaned over the notebook together, heads down, pencils tapping. No one laughed, no one teased. And for the first time, Marcus realized trying wasn't cringe. Trying made things better, for him and for someone else too. The next day, right before class started, Marcus was organizing his folder when someone tapped him on the shoulder. It was Jordan, one of the kids who usually sat in the back, hoodie up, barely speaking. "Hey," Jordan mumbled. How did you get your volcano to erupt like that?" Marcus blinked, then blinked again. Jordan looked down like he regretted asking. But Marcus smiled, small but real. "Oh, it's just baking soda and vinegar. You want help after school?" Jordan shrugged. "Yeah, cool, thanks." Then he walked away. It wasn't a big moment, no crowd watching, no dramatic music. But for Marcus, it was something bigger than winning a sticker. It was proof that being himself didn't push people away. It gave them permission to try too. That afternoon, Marcus waited by the science lab with 2 bottles in his backpack. Jordan showed up 5 minutes late, hoodie still up, hands in his pockets. "Sorry," he muttered. "I almost bailed." Marcus laughed a little. "I almost did too." They stood in silence for a second. Then Marcus pulled out the supplies. "Okay," he said. "Are you ready to make a mess?" Jordan raised an eyebrow. "Always." They poured the baking soda, added the vinegar. The volcano exploded all over the table. Jordan jumped back wide-eyed. That was awesome. And Marcus, he didn't hide his smile this time. Not even a little. Maybe you're like Marcus. Maybe you try to hide how much you care. Because somewhere along the way, trying hard started to feel uncool. But here's the truth. Trying is not something to be embarrassed about. It means you care. It means you're growing. And people might laugh or tease or roll their eyes. Let them. You're not here to impress people who are afraid to try. You're here to do your best even when no one's watching, especially then. Because when you stop hiding, when you show up fully as yourself, you don't just help yourself grow. You give others permission to do the same. So go ahead, answer the question, join the club, build the volcano. And if they call you a tryhard, just smile. That means you're doing it right.
If you enjoyed this lesson, click here for another learning video.